Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Emma Lefebvre, and today I'm doing another real-time floral painting with a voiceover. And today I'm going to be talking about motherhood for Mother's Day. And it may not be what you think it is. This isn't necessarily me gushing about motherhood. This is kind of a conversation that I think needs to be had more amongst moms. Mother's Day is a hard day for a lot of people. Whether you're yearning to be a mother yourself and you're struggling with infertility, maybe you've suffered a loss, maybe you have a strained relationship with your own mother, your mother has passed away, or you're a brand new mom like me going through postpartum depression. And what I wanted to talk about today was my own struggle with postpartum depression, which I experienced with my first son, Noah. This time around, it's a little bit different, and I kind of wanted to talk about it because I feel like I've been very blessed to now kind of experience both sides of struggling with postpartum depression and anxiety, and then this time around kind of feeling this gratefulness that I actually get to experience a bond with my baby. Anyway, so I'm just going to kind of jump in and talk about my first experience. And if this is not something you're into listening to, that's totally cool. Again, I will get around to doing tutorials, but at the moment, this is kind of where I'm at, and I thought it would be something new to do for a video, and hopefully you enjoy the conversation. Okay, so 2018 is when I gave birth to my first son, Noah, who I absolutely adore. You guys know how much I love him. He's such a stinking cute, smart, amazing, incredible kid who's almost 4 now this month. But at the beginning of our relationship, it was not all sunshine and roses, and it wasn't just because of the newborn phase just being hard. I struggled. I have dealt with depression and anxiety in my regular life before being a mom, and then once I became a mom, it just kind of developed even further. And I think a lot of it was because we didn't have the support system and the community to really help. I was the first of my friends to become a mom, so no one I really was super close with had done this before. And I was very, very lonely. That was one aspect of it. And then the other aspect of it was I wasn't able to breastfeed. And going into motherhood, I feel like I had a very clear head, and I knew that some people struggled with it, and I had this mindset that, whatever happens, happens. If I'm able to, that's great. If I'm not, I'll figure it out. But there's something about being in the thick of it when you're a brand new mom, you have this little baby that's depending on you, and you're super hormonal, and your body is just not working. You feel this immense guilt and craziness that's kind of inexplainable. And like I said, I had the mindset going into it, like, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Like, I knew people who weren't able to breastfeed before, and I knew that was a possibility. But having that newborn and being in that moment of I'm not able to feed my child was absolutely devastating. So TMI, maybe, my milk didn't really come in, and I didn't have much of a supply, but also Noah wasn't latching. He just detested the breast, which, made it harder. I had very pushy doctors and nurses telling me that breast was best, and we even took the class of breast is best and all about breastfeeding, and knew all the benefits. And you go into this and you're thinking, like, I'm going to give my child the best. And when you can't, you feel this failure as a mother, as a human being, to do something that seems so basic, to just be able to feed your child. And that was really the beginning of my spiral, you know. So we had pushy nurses trying to get us to, we were doing this finger feeding thing with some formula, trying to get him to work on his latch. And so going home, I was trying to get him to latch for a good 20 minutes. Then I was trying to pump, and then I was feeding him formula, and that whole process took an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then I was supposed to feed him again another hour later because they eat about every 2 to 3 hours. It was absolutely exhausting and draining, and the things that just kept running through my head, these intrusive thoughts, were awful of, I'm not cut out for this. I don't want to be a mom. I don't want to do this anymore. I made the biggest mistake of my life. That these awful, awful things, and you just feel like this failure of a person. And then on top of that, like I said, we didn't have a community. We didn't have the support system. I didn't have friends who had done it before. I had no one. I had Matt, who's an incredible husband, but he was new to this, and he was also told breast was best, and it was just something that was drilled into us, and he didn't know how to approach it either. So it wasn't until that I decided to stop that my mental health started to pick up a bit more, in the better sense. I started to feel a little less pressure. Matt was able to help feed with formula, and that pressure was off me, but it was still extremely lonely. There were these days where I was just sitting at home with this newborn, getting absolutely nothing done, but being so busy at the same time. And it was just so isolating and so incredibly lonely. And that was my first experience with motherhood. Now, obviously, things got a lot better. Noah grew up. We started to bond a bit more. Things got easier. He started sleeping more. Eating wasn't really a factor anymore. And just it gradually got better. And he's the love of my life. He's amazing. But it was a very hard journey. And so fast forward to this second child of mine. Pregnancy was awful, but it was so different this time. When Miles was born, I actually felt this connection that I didn't feel the first time around. And maybe it was because, I had done this once before, and I knew going into it what I needed to do for myself to excel in a positive way with my mental health. And that was not putting pressure on myself to figure out breastfeeding. If it wasn't going to work, it wasn't going to work. I regularly talk to a therapist, which I started doing a couple years ago. I was making sure I was taking my medication, or I am making sure I'm taking my medication for my anxiety. And I just kind of built up these tools that were going to help me this time around, because I did not want a repeat of the last time. And I feel like, we're only a month into this, but I feel like it's working. I also have the support system of my wonderful husband, who also knows a bit better this time of how to support me. All of my friends who did not have kids the first time around, they all have kids now. So it's better having those mom friends who actually, understand, and we're having play dates, and it's just so much better. And the other day I was sitting in my office with Miles, and I was just looking at him, and I was just crying because I'm so grateful that I get to experience this the way I feel like it should be experienced. That I didn't get the first time around. And I'm so grateful that I have a bond with Noah like no other, but to have this bond with Miles right away is such a blessing, and I am so incredibly grateful for it. And he's so perfect. Sorry, not trying to cry here, but I'm just so happy that I get this time around. And instead of wishing every little step away like I was with Noah, just waiting to get to the next milestone so he could grow up and so I could get a better handle on things. I'm actually trying to enjoy these crazy first weeks with my child, and they are tough. They are tough no matter if you have postpartum or not. The lack of sleep is difficult. You know, everything is crazy at the beginning, but I'm actually taking time to sit in those moments where we're up at 2:30 in the morning and I'm exhausted, but I'm just looking at him and I'm so thankful that I get to experience this the second time around in a different light. So it's pretty amazing. And I just kind of wanted to share that if you are someone who has struggled with postpartum depression, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen every time. And if you are pregnant or you're looking to get pregnant or it's just something that you worry about because you already deal with your mental health, put those tools into place beforehand if you can. You know, talk to a therapist. Make sure to have that support system somehow, whether it's baby groups or just the internet. I don't know, just setting yourself up for success and knowing that if you have difficulty feeding, I am a very strong believer, and this might be very controversial, and I'm sure I'll get some interesting comments, but I believe fed is best because not everyone is able to, and you can keep pushing and pushing and pushing, but it can be very dangerous to push yourself to a point where you may not be in the right mindset. So do what is right for you, do what is right for your family. And so this is my journey with motherhood right now, and it is crazy. And this Mother's Day, I didn't want flowers this year. I told Matt that I don't want flowers, which is crazy because I love flowers. Love peonies. That's why I'm painting this bouquet of peonies. Those are my favorites. But right now, we're so tired and so busy trying to juggle both kids that I feel like the flowers would sit there and I'd forget to change the water and they'd just die and it would just be another thing to throw out. So once I'm feeling better and we get the hang of things, I'm going to ask for a beautiful bouquet of flowers, or I'll buy myself some. But this year for Mother's Day, I just wanted to kind of be with my family. I asked him to take photos of me and the kids because that's what I want. I want to kind of sit in this moment of knowing I'll never have kids this young again. This is it. And I just want to cherish what I have because motherhood is tough. But we are tougher and we'll get through it. And so that is my kind of experience with postpartum depression, motherhood, how it's going. And like I said, I know this day is very difficult for so many people. And if you're struggling with any of those things I listed at the beginning, my heart is with you. Outside of postpartum depression, I've struggled with some things too. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. And that if you're going through what I went through, you're also not alone. Connect with someone. You know, you can reach out to me through Instagram, in my messages, but just know that you're strong, and this parenthood is like the craziest ride ever and one of the hardest things I've ever done. But it's also extremely beautiful and wonderful, and I would give anything for my kids. So kids, that's still so weird to say. Kids, multiple children. It will sink in soon enough. But yeah, that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, I guess, and my perspective on all of this. And please be nice to each other in the comments. And I hope you all have a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. Whether you're celebrating or not, just have a beautiful weekend where you can celebrate yourself. And that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me and connect with me on Instagram for even more. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.